What's up, guys? UFC 320 is this weekend, and I'm here to bring you my very last minute picks. This is pre the ceremonial weigh-ins, but after the weigh-ins have happened. Here we go. This is a pay-per-view, so if you guys want to potentially make $100 for just making fight picks, join Tapology.com, create an account, and then come over to Tapology.com/groups/2048, and the group name will be Haw Man We Gonna Have a Day. You'll see it right here. Just request to join, make your fight picks over on the UFC's pay-per-view stuff, like the UFC 320 right over here, and save them in this area like we're about to do. And if you win our group, like how last week Donner did, you'll make $100 now since it's a pay-per-view. Every pay-per-view I give out $100, so win. Anyways, join the group, win, subscribe, and help me monetize it so I can start paying out more. So we will start with the early prelims and move down to the main event, or move up to the main event. And let's start with the very first fight of the night. It's a women's fight. We've got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Let's flip our coin and solve this very quickly. It's going to be heads, so we're going with Veronica Hardy. She tends to win by decision, so we will pick a decision. That's how that works. Alright, now we will move on to the very first fight of the night. For me, Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Alright, I think Austin Vanderford's grappling is going to be what seals the deal here. I think he is the better grappler of the two. He beat Nikolai Veretnikov and Victor Romero in his past two most recent wins. But Ramiz has beaten guys that just shouldn't even be in the UFC. So I'm going to pick the grappler to grapple. Although Billy Ray Goff maybe should be. He just isn't as top quality. I'm going to pick Austin Vanderford to get maybe a decision victory over Brahimaj. Yeah, I'll be picking decision. Moving on to the next fight, we are staying in the welterweight division. We've got the guy who lost the last fight he was in, or not last fight he was in, but lost to Austin Vanderford and is higher than him on the card somehow, versus Punahele Soriano. I'm going to be picking Punahele. I think he's going to knock out Nikolai Veretnikov very early. I think that he is going to land very early, very often. And especially since Francisco Prado was able to, this guy right here, he was able to land very early, very often on Nikolai, who does not have the greatest of footwork. Punahele just knocked out Uros Medic, which was a great guy to knock out. So I think he's going to catch him in a similar way, knock him out. And yeah, moving on to the bantamweight division, we've got Patchy Mix versus Jacob Wicklacz. I am going to be picking Patchy Mix by submission in round number 2. I think he's going to get Jacob Wicklacz down, and I think you're going to see the real difference in levels of MMA here. I think Patchy Mix is going to end up battering him on the ground, beating him up, and getting the submission either in the first or second round. Honestly, it could be in the first. It wouldn't surprise me to see that happen. Yeah. Moving on to the next fight of the evening. We've got Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. Let's get right to what we do here. Macy Chiasson. I'm going to pick her by stoppage, I think. I'm going to pick her by a stoppage. That's how we'll go with that. There you go. Moving on to the next fight of the evening. We've got Ju Sang Yu, Zombie Jr. versus Willie Cat, Daniel Santos. I'm not sure who missed weight. Honestly, I'd have to look that up real quick, which I will. I don't mind looking that up. Sorry. Nice and slow. No, I guess they just weighed in at catch weight. I don't know. I think this is a closer fight than we think, but I think I'm going to pick Ju Sang-yu. He looked pretty talented in his debut. I do worry about some of his regional fights, but I'm going to pick him to KO Daniel Santos, maybe decision. This could be a tough fight. Daniel Santos isn't really a guy who really folds to things. Yeah. Picking an underdog here. Close fight, though. I've got Ju Sang-yu by knockout in round number 2. Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. I'm going to be picking Farid Basharat. He is the grappler. Gutierrez is one of these strikers who really only throws leg kicks, and that's about it. I think that Farid is going to really control the range and rhythm of the fight, where the fight takes place. And I think that's going to really throw off Chris Gutierrez's kicking game, and he's just not going to quite be himself. He may time one of the level changes with a knee or something, but that's all I could see him doing to really win the fight. Anyways, moving on to the next fight of the evening, we've got Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. We're in the middleweight division. I'm going to be picking Edmund Shabazian to win round number 1. I think his blitzes are going to be too much. His early dangerous game of his combinations and striking, his boxing is kind of problematic for most guys who don't have good defense, and Muniz does not have good defense. He doesn't really have great takedown entries either, so I think that Shabazian's going to be able to stop most of his takedowns. That being said, he has lost to Gerald Mearshart, so it would not surprise me to see Andre Muniz get him down and submit him. Yeah. I can't remember if he's fought Gerald Mearshart or not. Moving on. We've got Atiba Gutierrez versus Tristan Vines. I think we know what we're picking here. And I think we know why. We have a guy making his debut who has fought absolute no ones versus Atiba Gutierrez, who is a technical batterer, it feels like. I've got a Gutierrez by round 1 knockout. Vicious. Joe Pyfer versus a bus. Joe Pyfer will be feeding this bus a carrot, I have a feeling. I think Joe Pyfer lands too hard too early, and I think once he actually hurts Magomedov, he's going to realize it and go for the kill. Magomedov tends to get clipped very early and often, and he also gasses out pretty quick, so if he does end up taking the fight and making it a little longer, he's going to be the one to gas more than Pyfer, although Pyfer is a very low output striker. He doesn't really have much setup either. I would say a bus has more of setup, whereas Pyfer just has more raw power and cardio. I have Pyfer by round 1 knockout, although this could be a bus's fight, to be fair. He could just run over Joe Pyfer. Anyways, moving on to the next fight, and I think that was the first fight of the main card. This will be the second fight of the main card. We've got Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal in the featherweight division. I am going to be picking Yusuf Zalal by decision. I think he's going to pick apart Josh Emmett and do whatever he wants. I think he may be able to get a submission in this fight, although I think Josh Emmett is pretty tough to submit. Well, maybe not. I'm going to pick Yusuf Zalal by round 2 submission, actually. I think he's going to get the back at some point and submit Josh Emmett. I think this will be a great fight for him. I think it'll be a big improvement based on how his last fight with Calvin Kattar looked and how he was running a lot. He was running a lot. I'm not even saying quoting he was, from other people. He was running. But I think he's going to get the fight to the ground at some point and submit Josh Emmett. He has a really good ground game. All right, moving on to where we start the crazy fight. At least we get a crazy fight. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. This is going to be, in my opinion, a buzzsaw. I think that Yuri Prochazka is going to KO Khalil Roundtree either in round number 1 or round number 2. I don't think it lasts very long. I think Khalil Roundtree is going to come out, land a couple leg kicks heavy and early, and then Prochazka is just going to pressure him so early or so hard that he can't get comfortable throwing those leg kicks, and anytime he does, he's going to have to worry about Prochazka landing a big straight right hand or a big hook to counter him to knock him out. I think that will happen, and yeah, I think it's going to be in round number 1. I think Yuri's just going to maraud forward and KO him. I love Yuri Prochazka. He's my favorite fighter right now fighting. I hope nothing bad happens to him. So, here we go. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening and the bantamweight title on the line. We've got Corey Sandhagen versus Merab Dvalishvili. Merab on a massive, massive tear, actually getting a finish in his last fight, submitting Sean O'Malley by guillotine choke, if I'm not mistaken, north-south. Yeah, it was something like that, yeah. I think that he's going to get the job done here against Corey Sandhagen. I just don't think that Sandhagen's going to have the ability to pull Merab into the same shots as he did like Frankie Edgar or anybody like that. I think Merab is just so patient, and he showed that in the Sean O'Malley fight, that he knows how to fight a dangerous fighter when it comes down to it. He knows how to be patient. He knows how to stay at range. He knows when to be all the way in, when to be all the way out, when to rest, when to ground and pound, when to use submission attempts, when to kiss the bag. And, yeah, he's really great at stalling and doing that kind of thing, so I think he's going to be able to do that to Corey Sandhagen. I think that he's going to make Corey Sandhagen look like he hasn't really fought often outside of, you know, the footwork and moments where Corey does something crazy. Although I can see Corey scrambling a lot, being able to get up with a ton of submission attempts, but who knows? Watching the Merab tape that he did with DJ, I mean, he looked really, really good, really powerful, really strong, really great at submissions. I think he's going to be able to squish Corey Sandhagen for an entire 25 minutes if he really needs to. So, and that's what I'm picking him to do. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we have 38-year-old Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev for the light heavyweight title. We're at 205 pounds. I am going to be picking... It's Shama time, baby. I'm picking Alex Pereira. I'm just kidding. The burp changed my mind. I got Magomed Ankalaev by decision. I think that he's going to come out with the same style as he did last time, and unless Alex Pereira just fights incredibly aggressively, I just don't see the fight being much different. And Alex does adjust pretty well, and he tends to be more aggressive in rematches, so that does actually kind of make me want to pick him, but I could see him getting knocked out instead. I don't know, though. Light heavyweights age differently. This is such a tough fight for me to call, because now my bias wants to kick in and pick Pereira. Fuck it, I'll be one of the few guys. I'm going to pick Alex Pereira by round number 2 KO. I think that Magomed's going to come out pressure early. Not heavy to where he's overextending or anything, but he might clip Alex early. He's going to press him against the cage no matter what. I know we're going to get some of that. And then I think Alex Pereira is going to end up catching him with a right hand and then maybe a head kick behind it. Same side. Because they do like to shift off. But I don't know. This might just be me reaching and just picking Alex Pereira because, like, not nobody else is, but he's a good underdog, and he does do very much better in rematches, to be fair. Like, look at his rematches with Izzy. He looked so much better until he got clipped by Izzy by that, lucky shot. Anyways, I'm picking Alex Pereira by round 1 KO, or round 2 KO. We have an upset in the making. And a new champion again, Shama. Anyways, if you guys want to make $100, Join my Tapology. All you have to do is exactly what I just did and save your picks, and then you'll be fine. As long as you made your picks, they'll register, and then we'll go back over mine. And if you end up winning our group, I'll pay you out $100. Just make sure you have CashApp and send it in this group down here. You'll just put down the pay-per-view cash prize winner. You'll put your information. I'll make sure to message you too. But let's go back over my picks. I've got Pereira by round 2 KO, Dvalishvili by decision, Prohashka by round 1 KO, Zalal by submission round 2, Joe Pfeiffer by KO round 1, Atiba Gautier KO round 1, Shabazian KO round 1, Basharak decision, Yu KO round 2, Shaisan KO round 2, Mix submission round 2, Soriano KO round 1, Vanderford decision, Hardy decision. Anyways, guys, those are my picks for this evening, or for tomorrow's fights. Have a great time watching the fights. I will see y'all tomorrow for a fight companion. Please join in. And if you are lucky, you'll win $100. Have a great day. Bye.